A very good afternoon to you, and welcome to another edition of the Uckfield Business Podcast with me, Ian Noble from Uckfield Chamber of Commerce. And I'm delighted this afternoon to welcome back somebody who's been on this pod once before, Stephanie Aguilera from Uckfield College. And she's got some company as well. So Stephanie, are you joining me? Yes, you are. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, not too bad at all. Now, you've been on this pod before, haven't you?
Yes, I have. It's almost exactly a year ago.
Exactly a year ago. Okay,
yeah.
We'll have to make it an annual event then in March. It's Uckfield College time.
Yeah.
So
Start spring.
well, yeah, exactly. We're really looking forward to hearing what you've got to say this afternoon. And with you, you've got a couple of students. We know you've got a year 13 student in Ben Eldred. Is that right?
Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon.
Hello, Ben. You well?
Yeah. Good. Thank you. You?
Yeah. Good. Thanks. Yeah. And we've also got Hannah Starling, who's year 12. Hello, Hannah.
Hello. Yeah.
Good afternoon to you as well. So, Stephanie, tell us a little bit about, as a sort of an opening to this podcast, what we're going to be covering this afternoon.
So we engage hugely, and we are so eternally grateful to this great business community that we have that continues to grow and develop. And we continue also to grow our internal careers program. And since I've started, I've implemented new events because I do think that engagement with the world of work, those professionals who can talk about career journeys and how it does often twist and turn along the way, and providing insights into industry, qualifications, courses, what will be useful, what you should do, and how you can approach that in your future and what the possibilities are. We do a number of events, but to go academically in terms of timeline, one of the first events we run is the Interview Skills Day, aimed at our year 13 students, which I know that you've been involved in. And then we move on to, and actually there's a new event that we have only created this year. This was the first year we ran it, was an Enterprising Day in January. On the 15th of January, and that's followed by February, year 12 work experience for a week. And then in March, we have two key events. One of them is our annual careers fair, of which was ran last week. And we had over 50 organisations attend, which is great. I'd love to go into a bit more detail, and hopefully
we'll come to the detail later.
Yeah. And then we have our alumni networking event, but it's alumni and often professionals who are non-alumni who can just provide insight into their journey and how they got to where they are now. And it's that one-to-one and making those connections happen within a brief encounter. So that's run on the 27th of March. And then our final is the week commencing 7th of July, which will be our year 10 work experience. So two opportunities to gain work experience, and then all these events that happen over the course of the academic year.
Amazing. And you pull all this together for Uckfield College. And we were talking pre-show that your job title is Aspirations Leader, which sounds very grand. Now, and we sort of ran out of time pre-show, but do all schools have somebody like you, or are we very fortunate to have you in Uckfield?
Yes, I mean, it's in varying capacities. Sometimes it's a dual role where they are teachers or part of the SLT senior leadership team. We're very fortunate at Uckfield College that I'm able to dedicate time to these events. Work experience, I mean, it's over 400 students out every year on work experience, which is huge. We've also got a new system in place to be able to create profiles for our students. It's got an unusual name, but it really is fantastic.
What's it called then?
It's called Unifrog, and it enables students. It enables students to record their work experience, then get the feedback from the work experience, whether we've checked in on them from the employer. But it also allows them to create CVs, attend virtual workshops. It's got a whole array of things, but it tracks and does personality quizzes and all of those kind of things where you can start to go, if you're not sure, it starts to capture, well, what are your main interests? These are the kinds of things that you might like to look at.
Brilliant.
It's a great system to be able to have everything in one place. And me, to go paperless is Absolutely a godsend.
Well, there we are. We are in 2025, so paperless is
Yes,
good. Paperless is good.
absolutely.
And what a great name, Unifrog. You're not going to forget that in a hurry, are you?
No, yes.
I'm not going
Unusual,
to ask you why it's called that name, but maybe we'll find out.
No,
later.
I think it was set up. I'm not the one to tell the story, but it was set up by and it's grown, and a lot of schools up and down the country use it now. And the way it's developed, I mean, I think we've come in at the right moment, because it's now so huge and has so many resources that it's actually it's from my perspective very fruitful.
Okay. Well, look, Stephanie, let's get into the detail of some of these events that you run at Uckfield College for the benefit of your students and for the benefit of businesses as well locally, and with the help of businesses locally. So, Gordon, who's our producer guy, let's get the first slide up if we can. So, there we go. This is a interview skills day event. We were touching on that. This is a summary, isn't it, really, of the
events. Which actually, and I've just realised I haven't included the January Enterprising Day, so I should have done, but that's a brand new event as of this year, and I will talk you through how that works. It's a bit more like a Dragon's Den kind of style, where they were able to work on an idea. It was year 12, right? I want to say, So, were you involved in that? I can't remember. Sorry, just checking with you.
Okay. Well, right. Okay. So we can come to the detail later. So, is there anything else you want to say to that slide, Stephanie, or are we?
No, I'm actually. So I think the I don't even want to say anything more. I would like you to be able to get the insight, the intel, and the first-hand experience of students who've actually gone through these actual events that we run. And so I'm going to hand over to our year 13 student, Ben Eldored, who has been with us since year 7 and will have been encountering everything that I've just mentioned on the careers program there. So I'm going to hand over to him so he can talk through. Right.
So Ben, welcome again to the podcast. You've done lots of stuff to help you in your chosen career. You're still in year 13 at the moment. So start at the beginning for us. When did this first happen for you?
Yeah, so the first sort of proper experience I had was the year 10 work experience, which we did. So I did that just with my dad's with the company my dad works for. So that was Mott MacDonald over in Brighton. So that was mainly sort of CAD-based civil engineering type work. So that's sort of where my first interest lied, was with sort of more civil engineering. I've always kind of had the fascination of engineering, and that's what I've always wanted to do. But we had another work experience just last February, and that was with, so in year 12. So I did that with Coppard's Plant Hire. And that worked really well, and that actually changed my interest from civil engineering to being more mechanical focused.
Well, you're getting technical now, Ben, but that's fine. So it is interesting, though, that your work experience has changed your view about what career you wanted to do. Is that right? Yeah,
nice. So just sort of focusing more on sort of a more specific area of the mechanical engineering. Because originally I had applied, I tried to get placements with different companies, but a lot of companies just didn't want to sort of do the work experience at that time of year. Because it being in February, it's quite often muddy on site. So that was one of their things. So Miss Aguilera, our Aspirations Leader, so she recommended Coppard's Plant Hire. So I called them, and then they had me for the full week.
Well, this is something you don't think about when you're putting work experience plans together, Stephanie, is it really? Is it muddy on site in February? I've heard of a few excuses, but that seems crazy. But you got around that one. Ben, tell us a little bit about other things that you've done then to help you with your choice of career. What else has the school put on that we've touched on already to support you?
They have the careers fair. So that was just last week, and they do one every single year, and loads of companies go to that, and it's really good. So you get to meet a load of people, talking even to companies who aren't necessarily within the industry that you're like specifically focused on, but having that kind of general sort of experience of talking to them, it's really useful to kind of see it from a different perspective sometimes.
Sure. Who stood out for you then at this most recent careers fair that you spoke to? We didn't rehearse this question, so it might be a bit unfair, but who stood out for you as as an exhibitor?
I had a really good chat with the company Servomex. So they're based over in Crowborough. So I spoke to them, and he was telling me about the sort of summer internships that they offer. So that's the sort of thing that you wouldn't necessarily realise that, or I wouldn't have, without the careers fair. And sort of finding out about that, gives you the opportunity to kind of learn a bit more about the company, and you get the opportunities for work experience or sort of internships through that you might not necessarily know about.
Yeah, good. And have you, the other thing that, the only thing really that I personally have had experience of supporting the college with is the Year 13 interview skills day. Have you been through that?
Yeah, no. So I went to that, and I did my interview with Andrew Parker. So I had that with him, and that was a really useful chat as well, because it was really useful to just learn a bit more about the kind of things that an employer would look out for, and sort of having that insight into what they're looking for. It means that when you actually go through the stages of doing the interviews themselves for real, you know what good things to mention are, and also what sometimes isn't worth mentioning.
Absolutely. And do you know what? It's an interview is just a two-way conversation, really. And I think sometimes we can beat ourselves up ahead of an interview, get maybe too nervous about it, when really we're just having that conversation. You're having a look at them, they're having a look at you to see if that will be a fit for you in an employed role. So yeah. I'm glad that was helpful to you. Good. Okay. Ben, what else would you like to share with us this afternoon?
Mainly just about the work experience, how good sort of just as well having the two work experiences. Because on the first work experience, I kind of learned, because I was originally I did it as a kind of trial of working in an office, and just doing that work experience kind of showed me that wasn't really the path that I wanted to go down. So then getting the second opportunity to try out another role, that lets you focus more on what the alternative is, and you can have a go at that, which I think is brilliant.
Very good. Now, we're going to let you go in a minute, because we know you've got a mock exam today. So good luck with that. What are your plans, Ben, for the future? What do you hope to go on to do? We know you want to be in engineering, but what are the immediate plans for you?
So I'm applying to some apprenticeships. I've applied to one with Rolls-Royce and a couple of others. So that's one of the plans. Or I'm also thinking about going to uni and studying mechanical engineering. So one of those two routes, and then hopefully a good long career in engineering.
Very good. And I'm sure Stephanie Aguilera there, sitting to your right, has already earmarked you as somebody to come back for an alumni day in the future. Is that right?
Oh, no, certainly, yes. I will be tracking. We do our students, yeah.
You'd be up for that, Ben, would you?
Yeah, of course.
Very good, very good. Ben, we need to let you go because you've got an exam. So good luck with your exam, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Right.
Close the door quietly on your way out.
Yeah.
There we go. So, Stephanie, that was interesting to hear from Ben. And we hadn't rehearsed any of this. People think we rehearse these podcasts, or we spend ages on it, but we don't, do we? We just met beforehand very briefly.
I haven't really even had. We've spoken briefly just to say we're going to cover the events that we do.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much all we've had the time to discuss. So yeah.
Before we come to Hannah, is there anything specifically that you want to elaborate on from what you covered at the beginning?
No, so I'm going to introduce Hannah Starling now, who is one of our Year 12 students. So hasn't quite completed all the events that I'm going to be talking about, but certainly has attended the careers fair and has completed both Year 10 and Year 12 work experience. Aside from that, and I don't know if you recall, but as I say, the newest event to our agenda has been that Enterprising Day, which very much was something that we were thinking about some finance talk, but then we thought actually, as well as some finance talk, it would be good to be able to, so many students feedback and say about finding out a bit more about entrepreneurship and how people get to take an idea and develop it. And I thought it would be a great idea to have employers come in. They had a concept given to them and then they were able to work on that. But I'm going to hand over to Hannah because I think she had an exceptional work experience that only took place last month. And again, I just think she'll be able to highlight how that's going to actually help her in her future.
Okay, let's hear from Hannah then. Hello, Hannah.
Hi, nice to see you.
Are you well?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
Excellent, good. So your work experience for year 12 is fresh in the memory. It was only last week.
Yes.
Before we get to that, take us back to your year 10. Tell us how it all began for you with regard to work experience.
Yeah, so initially in year 10, I was more like unsure on what to do for work experience. I ended up working with a animal rescue centre, but I think what's important about that is at year 10, it's quite a young age. So people haven't really considered yet maybe what they want to do for work, but it's something that's very important. And even if you're not doing anything that's specific to what you're interested in, it can still give you like quite a lot of good skills like team building and things like that.
Absolutely. So I get that totally. So would you say that the work experience aspect in itself is almost more important than the type of business that you're in at that age?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, when you're young, it's more about just learning what work is like and getting that kind of skill set for yourself. And also, because, you know, some people will then want to go on and maybe apply for jobs earlier than others, and they've already got that under the belt. So that can really support them.
Yeah, good. So let's hear about recently then. What happened in year 12?
So recently I've done my year 12 work experience, and that has actually been something that's been really beneficial for me because, again, I wasn't entirely sure on what I wanted to do, but this time I had more of an idea of going into journalism and things like that. So doing the work experience, I was able to go with a local newspaper company, Lewis Business Media.
Oh, very good.
Doing that helped me to kind of realize that I was actually more interested in it than I thought. And it gave me a lot of opportunities and, again, things that I can just kind of present to employers in the future.
Excellent. And they are members of our chamber, so we're delighted about that, that you were with them. And you had some work published, I understand. Is that right?
I did, yeah. I was very lucky. They during the week, they let me kind of practice building up to it and then let me publish 2 articles at the end on their website. So you can actually find that online, which was a really big deal for me because, like I said, I was really interested in journalism, and actually being able to kind of have my own work and come to an employer and say, I actually have published work is such a good point for, you know, wanting to get hired or get into other things like universities and things like that.
Yeah, very good. Well done. Congratulations on that. And I'll need to find them. I'll hunt them out and have a read later. So in addition to work experience, what else have you done in terms of preparation for the world of work?
Yeah, so like Miss Aguilera said, we had the UCAS day. I've actually got a UCAS fair coming up, which I'm looking forward to, a trip in Brighton. But we had the day here at the school, and that kind of gives everyone like a big range of opportunities. You can look at universities and apprenticeships and different things. And anyone can attend as well. It's obviously targeted towards year 12s and people higher up in the school, but like even year 7s are allowed to, you know, look around, which is great.
Wander about, Be a nuisance. Did I say that out loud? So this is the careers fair we're talking about, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So same question to you that I asked Ben, and we didn't rehearse this. Who stood out for you at the careers fair? Who did you talk to that thought, oh yeah, that's really interesting?
Yeah, so I've been looking more into like universities and things, and we were walking around. I like the fact that there was a range of universities, but for me, I think like the University of Exeter stood out to me. It's quite a like nice university, and it's got a lot of like facilities. And again, you've got people there who on like availability who can talk to you about the different courses and stuff. So obviously I was asking more towards like journalism, things like that. But yeah, that one definitely stood out to me because it was quite a high ranking university.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Exeter University. I think it's probably, you probably don't remember this, but Carlsberg had an advert, probably the best lager in the world. And I think Exeter have grabbed that, and they've got a thing that says Exeter, probably the best university in the world. I think that's for Exeter. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong there. Maybe I'm making it up. I've heard that. Right, so that's great. Now, you haven't yet done then the because you're not in year 13 yet, so you haven't done the mock interview day. So that's
no, I haven't. No, but I'm looking forward to that because it's definitely something that I can benefit from.
Good stuff. Excellent. Hannah, before we let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
I think just that, again, obviously the reason we're doing this is to talk about why it's important for more businesses to join this event that we host. And I would say definitely, yes, as someone who's obviously gotten a lot out of it and a lot of experience and interest, and even just like building relationships with people in the work community. I think if you can get your business to join, it can just like help someone if they've got a specific interest or something that might not have been available.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the benefit to a business is that they can maybe identify talent as well from people that have come on work experience. It's probably quite unusual that someone does a work experience placement and then goes on to work for that specific company. But it could happen.
Yeah,
and I know that local businesses find recruitment of good people a challenge, in the current market. So good. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Hannah. Feel free to stay with us or leave if you have places to go. Let's go back to Stephanie.
Yes, thank you, Hannah. Yes, as I say, they have both come in off trial exam week, so I'm very, very grateful for their time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And it was great to hear from them both, Stephanie. And of course, they're not alone. You could have picked other students, I guess, from within the many at the college.
Yes, I could have done. It was nice, particularly because they'd had such positive experiences with their work experience. And actually, I'd helped them put in touch with both those work placements. I don't necessarily secure the work placement for them, but my knowledge of you can approach, because I do encourage students to approach them directly. I've been told so many times that the employer will often say no to a school, but they'll say yes to the student.
Interesting.
It will have been that approach, and it will have been that I'm so passionate, or I would love to get into, or I would love to have experience.
Yeah.
And I think that really can speak to people. So I do sometimes provide a contact, but I don't necessarily secure it for them, because I think it's so important to do that part of it.
And make that part of the experience. The fact that you're securing that placement is part and parcel of the experience, isn't it?
We all find ourselves behind a screen having to send an email for the first time for a job application, or for an opportunity, or for some work experience, or an internship. And I think this is where you get to break the ice and actually try that for the first time. So, and I'm always happy to check their first draft if they need any help. Happy to do all of that. I'm here to support, but I think it's really important that the students approach the employers themselves.
Yeah, that's right. I would absolutely agree with that. Okay, so we've heard from two students, and you just went over quite quickly all the various things that the college is doing. But let's, Gordon, if we could have the slides back, please. We can just go through these slides. We on to the next one, Gordon, please.
Yes.
So tell us, let's talk about this now from a business perspective. What would you say, Stephanie, to businesses to encourage them to participate in these various events?
Interview Skills Day, I think we can all remember at some point in our career and job search how interviews have gone, and how it can be very nerve-wracking when you're at the beginning and without necessarily much to talk about that's yet grown and developed yet, and that you are going to be talking about your school experiences and possibly work experience and all of those other elements. I just think it's a great confidence builder. And I think as well, any employer that is coming to volunteer, the feedback that we've had is that they're always quite impressed with our students, which is always fantastic to hear. But equally, they really feel like they've given something back. And I think that's what it's all about, is actually creating the confidence building, helping their decision making. Sometimes it was actually about what they shouldn't do, or don't feel the need to mention that. Actually, I would focus more on, and sometimes those little tweaks that can be done. At the end of the day, sometimes you'll be on that first interview for the real thing. And this is a way of breaking that down and saying, okay, you've almost had that practice run now. And now when you go to that, you'll have in the back of your mind that employer that came in and volunteered for that interview skills day. I remember what they said. And you might actually have made all the difference to them securing a job opportunity that they were so keen on. And at the end of the day, sometimes we only learn by experience, and this gives them that experience.
Indeed. Sorry, I was coughing there. I had to mute.
Right.
Yeah, good. That's absolutely. I've rarely had a bad experience in interviewing a student from the college, so that's good. Excellent. So what's the next one? What have we got next?
Yeah, so next we have, I'll talk through about a few of the different events, but so the interview skills, and I did touch upon the newest event that we literally have put into the academic calendar this year, which was Enterprising Day. And as I say, they were given a concept, a marketing concept, something like a new drink for Generation Z. And then they had to work on that concept in teams. And then they had to present their idea, very much like a Dragon's Den pitch,
Okay.
even talk about what they think they would need budget-wise and how they would spend it. Obviously, not necessarily real money or anything like that.
Sounds great fun.
Exchanged. But it was about that idea of the students absolutely loved it. I think it's a great idea. It was a little late in the day for me to be able to really give it the attention that maybe I would have loved to have given it, but we had great volunteers. But if that struck a chord with somebody where they'd like to be maybe a dragon, to please get in touch, because it's something I would like to grow and develop. And certainly,
how many dragons are you looking for?
Well, we had about, I think it was around 12 volunteers who came in. I think I'm going by memory, and fantastic. But I feel, because they go out to breakout rooms, as you can imagine, to go and work on their concept, and then we allocated a dragon to each group, and then they were able to feed back and go round the room as they're working on these concepts and going, have you thought about, and what about this, and starting to, oh yes, actually I should take that into consideration. Okay. All these kind of things, and they're often business owners themselves, where they've actually had to come against some of the barriers that do come up, and it's getting them thinking about those kind of things. As I say, this is an experience that's only practice, but it's giving them the experience that they can then go forwards and remember, and it's learning.
I think probably what it does, Stephanie, it probably in a word enhances their employability skills.
Yes.
There's just so many facets to the exercises that it will just give them confidence, and that in itself is a great thing. Okay, so in the interest of time, I'm going to move us on.
Yes.
So this is the careers fair.
Yeah.
I've already talked about that. There's two great chamber members there, Thorns and Ricks and Kay, in your photographs, and there's more pictures there. Look.
We had over 50 organisations. Yeah. They brought, so Thorn had build something out of, and it was a great concept. And I think it's about creating those interactive opportunities, that there's something on the stool that they can come and ask about, whether it be photos or a device that they can go, what does that do? ServoMex is a gas analysis engineering company. So there's so many different factors, but it was over 50 organizations, and the energy in the room and the atmosphere was fantastic. And I'd strongly encourage anybody who would like to even network themselves and find out how it all is, and love you if you are available as well, Ian, to come to our next one. And I was on
holiday last week when it was on, so I missed it. I was away, but I will have, and if I'm free, I'll definitely come next year.
So even if it's just to pop in, it's such a great event, and it really is one of my favourites to put on, because I think it really can such inspire and sometimes allow you to just freely explore lots of different opportunities without being having to narrow it down to one.
Who's that in the middle? Is that Uckfield Chiropractic in the middle? Is that?
Yes, it is. Yes, that's
right. Becky, Andrew, and her team. That's good.
That's right.
There's a few more slides here, Gordon, aren't there? Let's have a quick flick through these. Let's indulge ourselves to see if there's anyone else we recognise.
There's Funnabounds there, and Rosh is in Burgess Hill, but
Yeah.
We've got Sara Sussex Police came as well.
Yeah.
We've got some universities, lots of universities from up and down the country, which is fantastic. University of South Wales, for example, Exeter. We had University of Creative Arts, Falmouth University. It's fantastic that they have so many representatives. And it's not all about universities. We have apprenticeship providers and training providers, Steve Willis, electrician and plumbing apprenticeships. We often have Partners for You, which is a hairdressing apprenticeship provider. So there's real eclectic mix.
And it's not all large businesses. We saw Ashley Jones there from Downland Surveying. He works pretty much on his own in his business locally.
That's right. He supports our work experience as well.
He's a great guy. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Good. Yeah. Great.
Knockhatch there as well. The chamber members, Chris Beveridge there from
That's right. Yes. Yeah. So, and again, always attends our careers fair and just brings a little bit of fun, especially for there's a lot of part-time work also. We have Ashdown Ashdown Park Hotel, and we have the conservators of Ashdown Forest who voluntary opportunities.
Brilliant.
And I think it's, as I say, it's not always about your lifelong ideas. It's often about, let's see how I can build towards my ideas. Sure.
Okay, let's move on if we can. So is there another slide, Gordon? Yeah, here we are. Alumni.
The alumni. So that's happening next Thursday. Yeah, so just next Thursday, we're looking for alumni, and we've managed to secure again a great number of individuals who'll come in. And again, such a range, and it's just so fantastic to hear their career stories. And we all know that careers aren't linear as they used to be. And I love that they are able to talk about the career changes and how it shifts and changes and how they've adapted. Because I think actually what I'd like to equip students most with is the adaptation that going forwards, things may change and it's okay. And that you can re-qualify, re-explore ideas further down the line. I think that's key. And I think these kind of opportunities really shine a light on that. And that whatever they're deciding, they can decide with confidence and not have the fear of like, am I only going to be doing this? And is it the right thing? And it's okay. Explore that, because it's obviously a passion for yours right now, and don't worry if it changes later. It's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very, very true. And I think it's something quite powerful about the fact that the people that are talking to them at this event in particular had been in their shoes previously.
Yes, I love the fact that gets dropped into conversation, and it definitely and in the feedback the students say, and to know that they were once where I was, and to know that they went here and where they are now. And I think that's really, really powerful. Yes, we have non-alumni attend. We do, because it's about representing as many different careers as possible. But we do have a number of alumni, which is fantastic.
And just give us the date for that one again, next week.
27th of March, which is next Thursday.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. There's quite a lot happening next Thursday, which will...
Yes, March is a busy month.
I know, yeah. Okay. Good. Excellent. Is there anything else that you want to add, Stephanie?
I think for me, work experience, please help. I think, as you can see from the two students who've spoken, we have had some employers who are only taking year 12 or aren't necessarily supporting this year, or are taking on more longer term placements from Plumpton and East College, and therefore are a bit more stretched within their team. But I think it's 1 week, and I do appreciate the support and time that it does take. But as you can see from the accounts of both students that I had on the podcast today, it's so valuable. And you will really see such a change and difference from the Monday to the Friday in that said individual, and how much it can build their confidence, their self-esteem, their decision-making. So if you can, in any capacity at all, support our work experience program, I'd love to hear from you.
Okay, that's brilliant. And what we'll do is when we put this information out, the podcast on socials, we'll mention the work experience in particular, I think, and the dates for them going forward. So Thank you for that, Stephanie. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Do stay with us. We're just going to wrap the end of this podcast up with a few sort of parish notices for the Chamber of Commerce coming up. So, Gordon, there we go. Next Thursday, that busy day when you have your alumni event, we have our AGM in the evening. between 6 and 8:30. We have Mims Davis MP speaking. We're delighted she's joining us. We have over 60 people booked on already. This is for members only. So if you're watching this and you're not a member, sorry you can't come, but you can join, of course. You might be able to get your application in time. But it should be a really good networking opportunity. And we'll do the sort of formal stuff that we have to do every year at the AGM. We are running still our virtual networking every month. This is always on the first Wednesday of the month, so Wednesday, 2nd of April. And on the 2nd of April, our next one, we have Sue Choppin from Sussex Police joining us on this one. And she'll be talking about how we can help protect against business crime. We're going to go again with this in a month's time, our next podcast, and we'll just come back to that at the end, Gordon. But we do have a breakfast coming up as well. There's a networking breakfast. These breakfasts are really popular. We already have a really good number booked on. This isn't until the 25th of April, 7:30 till 9:15ish. It's at the Pitch House restaurant in town. Everyone has an opportunity of an elevator pitch, and you don't have to be a member to come along to this. Non-members are welcome, and booking is open on the Chamber website. Be good to see you, Steph, if you can spare some time. Come along to one of the breakfast events.
I did. I'm booked on that one.
You're booked on already? Oh.
On the 25th. Yeah.
We hadn't even rehearsed it. You kept that a bit quiet. You could have said, that's good. Look forward to it. Yeah.
In my diary. Yeah.
That's great. Good stuff. And then the following day, it's sort of like buses. Things happen together. I just want to give this event a mention. It's not a chamber event, but it is an event that's quite important. Karen Bedwell, who is the current mayor of Uckfield, runs her own podiatry practice in Uckfield with her son Jamie, who I think is alumni from the school. And maybe you could talk to Jamie about coming along to one of your alumni events. But she's running a mayor's reception, and it's called a mayor's reception because it's not a big formal black tie dinner where you pay £100 a ticket. The cost is just £25. There will be modest food available. There'll be entertainment, a swing band. I think the theme is sort of 40s and 50s style. So if you like that kind of swing music, it'll be a really good evening. And this is about promoting and celebrating volunteering in Uckfield. And we're working with Karen and Wielden Volunteering to help establish a scheme called People Need People, whereby businesses step up to the mark with regard to their own corporate social responsibility to support the third sector in our town. So that should be a really good event on Saturday, 26th of April. You can buy your tickets for this one from the Civic Centre website, I believe. So thanks, Gordon. And then finally, I think we'll just talk about our next show. So this will be on Thursday, the 24th of April, when Claire Allen will be in the chair, and she'll be speaking with Michelle Clark from Chamber member Happy Me Dance, talking about all things dance and how we can relate dance to business. So I look forward to listening to that one. Should be a really interesting podcast. Stephanie, thank you again for joining us this afternoon. And thank you to Ben and Hannah for their time too. Hopefully some of your other students will want to watch this podcast back later if they're not watching live just now. We can share that with them. And we're going to meet you guys again. Well, obviously, you're going to come to our breakfast event, but we're back at the college in September, I think, for another meeting. We look forward to that event too in about 6 months' time. So, Stephanie, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
And thank you, Gordon. I think we're done. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us, everyone.